You know what scouts notice first? It's not your saves, it's not your kicking, and it's certainly not your gloves. It's everything else. The way you walk in, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself before the session even starts. And that's where most goalkeepers go wrong. In this video, I'm breaking down 7 ways to stand out at trials. The little things that most goalkeepers never even think about, but coaches always notice. So if you're ready to claim your spot, let's get started. Starting with point 1. Alright, imagine this. You walk into the changing room, there's already another keeper lacing up his boots. He's laughing with the defenders like they played together for years. The coach gives him a nod, maybe even a fist pump. And you feel invincible and you don't say a word. You take a deep breath, try to put your gloves on, but suddenly they're too small or your hands are just way too big. And it's in that moment right there where most goalkeepers go wrong. They shrink, they go quiet, they sit back and wait because they're scared of looking out of place. And listen, if you act like a guest, trust me, you will be treated like one. The goalkeepers who get picked, they walked in like they belong, even if they're scared out of their minds. Not in a, cocky way, but just in a way that gets them noticed. They introduce themselves, say hello to the coach, ask a quick question about the session, maybe even learn a defender's name or two before the warm-up starts. So even if your stomach is in knots, even if you're dying inside, you walk in like you earned it, because how you enter, it sets the tone for everything else. Okay, so what happens next after you walk in is just as important as how you enter. Because if you look sloppy, distracted, or like you're not taking this seriously, it's already too late. Let's dive into point number 2. And let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was coaching at the trial. 40 kids showed up. We split them into 3 teams, did a quick briefing before kickoff, and right before kickoff, one of the coaches says, "Anyone not got shin pads?" 3 hands go up, and without skipping a beat, coach goes, "All right, you're not playing today, you're not playing today, and you're not playing today." Brutal, yeah, but also fair, because here's the truth. Coaches are watching everything, how you walk, what you're wearing, whether you're focused or just standing around waiting for someone to tell you what to do next. They're not just scouting your ability, they're also scouting your attitude. And the best way to ruin your first impression: look sloppy, move like you're lazy, and just seem overall unprepared. Doesn't matter how good you are if no one takes you seriously. So don't give them a reason to write you off before the session even starts. Be sharp. That means full kit, body language, and no phones. Warm up early, even if no one else is. Stretch, activate, get your feet moving. Ask if you can help move a goal, carry the balls, anything. Coaches remember keepers who act like pros even before they see them play like one. So show them that you're serious. Alright, now looking the part is a great start, but it's not what gets you picked. Because once the drills begin, most goalkeepers try way too hard to impress, and that's exactly what's holding them back. Let's talk about point number 3. And let me guess, you want to stand out with top corner saves or a massive 1v1 block? Maybe a triple save, just something big, so coaches remember you, right? Well, all those things are great, but they're not what gets you picked. The thing that impresses coaches the most isn't the highlight moments, it's the boring stuff. And let me explain. When I've been on trial panels, you know what the conversations usually sound like? Who was that keeper with the clean handling? That one who kept moving his feet to get his body behind the ball? Who's the guy talking non-stop, even after letting in a soft goal? There's no mention of the high-flying save or the side volley or that risky pass that almost got through. Because while all those things might get attention, they just don't build trust. And trust is what gets you signed. So don't chase those highlight reel moments. If they come naturally, great, lucky you. But if they don't, no big deal. Instead, give great service to the other keepers. Stay locked in, even when it's not your turn. Be the cleanest, most reliable version of yourself. Why? Because if you make the coaches' sessions run smoother and you nail the basics, they'll want to work with you again. And when you're at a trial, that's one of the best compliments you can earn. Now, all of that is during the drills, but what happens between them? Because while everyone's catching their breath and grabbing a drink, there's something else that separates goalkeepers who blend in from the ones who stand out. Let's dive into point number 4. Okay, Picture this. You're in goal. It's your first small-sided game of the day, and it's chaos. Defenders you never played with, no chemistry, no coordination. You barely learned anyone's name. So what do most goalkeepers do? They stay quiet, they focus on themselves, and they hope the backline just figures it out. But guess what? Silence is one of the fastest ways to disappear. Because when a coach hears nothing from their goalkeeper, no organization, no direction, no presence, they're already looking for someone else. Now compare that to the goalkeeper who steps in and just owns the pitch. He's loud, he's positive, he's using names, even if he's asking twice to remember them. Leo, you got cover. Steve, step. James, push the line. And even if he lets in goals, he keeps talking, he keeps organizing, he keeps leading. And here's the magic of that. The coach starts to forget this is your first day. You sound like you've already been part of the team. So if you want to stand out, sound like a goalkeeper the coaches trust. Not the one who makes the most noise, but the one who makes the team feel more secure. Okay, so you're communicating, you're organizing, you're leading, but then something weird happens. You start doing things you've never done before, not because they make sense, but because you think is what they want to see. And that's where most goalkeepers lose themselves. Let's dive into point number 5. Okay, so you're at the trial game, ball gets played back to you and you got options. Simple pass to the right, take a touch and clear it, or thread a risky pass into the midfield through 3 pressing forwards. Now, normally, you never play that third pass, but this isn't a normal game, it's a trial. Right? So your brain kicks in and says, impress them, show off your feet, play like a modern goalkeeper. So you force it, it gets intercepted, and just like that, you're playing catch-up. Most goalkeepers try way too hard to be someone they're not. They stretch their range, do things they don't even train just to look flashy. But coaches, they can spot that from miles away. Trust me guys, you're better off being 100% reliable playing your own game than 50% successful playing someone else's. So if your strength is communication and clean handling, show that. If you're calm under pressure, sure, show that as well. If you're good at breaking the lines, do it, but only when it's on. Just don't fake it. Don't try to be someone else. Play your game, the one you know, the one you've been training all your life, and let the rest take care of itself. Alright, so now you're settled, you're playing your own game, you're doing well, and then boom, you misjudge a cross, you miss a pass, you concede a soft goal, and suddenly everything slows down. And this is where most goalkeepers start spiraling, not because of the mistake, but because of what happens next. Here's point number 6. Okay, let's be honest. Trials, they're brutal. Because no matter how sharp you are, there's a chance you'll mess up in front of everyone. And when it happens, most goalkeepers panic, they drop their shoulders, they stop talking, they start overthinking every touch, and they try to fix it by forcing something big. But here's what you might not know. Coaches, they expect mistakes at trials. They know you're nervous, they know you're human, and they're not watching the mistake, they're watching you. They're watching how fast you can bounce back, how you react, how you carry yourself in the next 5 minutes. Because if you crumble after a mistake, that's what they'll remember. But if you reset, stay composed, keep leading and doing your job, that sticks too in the best way. So the next time you make a mistake, don't flinch, don't force it, don't go quiet, reset, own it, and play on like nothing happened. Alright, so you've done the hard part. You showed up, you played your game, and you bounced back after a mistake. But here's what most goalkeepers forget. Just because the final whistle blows, that doesn't mean your trial's over. Let me explain in point number 7. The easiest way to disappear after a trial is to treat it like a game. Shake a few hands, pack your bags, head home like it's just another session. But here's the truth. A trial isn't just a performance, it's a memory test. At the end of the day, the coach is looking at the list of names and trying to remember who stood out, who made this job easier, who brought the best energy, who looked the part even before warm-up, and still carried themselves like a pro after the session or match. The goal isn't just to play well, it's to leave a mark. So before you leave, introduce yourself again, thank the coach for the opportunity, shake hands, make eye contact, say something respectful, something memorable, and if you can, ask a thoughtful question, something simple like, is there anything I should keep working on, or appreciate the chance, would love to stay in touch. That moment, that final impression can be the difference between getting forgotten and getting the callback. Because the coaches might forget your name on paper, but if they remember your presence, you've already won half the battle. But that was the easy part. Ever feel like no one truly gets what it's like being a goalkeeper? The pressure, the blame, the isolation? That's exactly what my next video is about. Click here and learn what every goalkeeper feels, but no one ever says out loud.